Drayckonyan Rydr. Book 1. Myths Retold. Written and read by Drayckonyan. Chapter 2. Times Together. Drayckonyan found Nitron's weakness. It was Marillion. He had been searching in the forest for some berries to flavor the meat he ate when he heard some voices close by. With some sneaking and skulking around, he found Nitron with Marillion walking down a well-traveled path. Drayckonyan abandoned his search and went home. When he got to his cave, Drayckonyan found Sunil there. Sunil. The dragon of my dreams, he thought to himself. Here in my cave, rummaging through piles of seashells and shiny rocks that I've been collecting. It is fine. She's too perfect to care about that right now. Sunil turned around. Oh, she exclaimed. You're back. I thought you were going to be gone for a little longer. This is a beautiful collection of shells, by the way. At this, Drayckonyan was taken out of his trance. That? I just collect shiny things, he replied. I don't really know why. Well, I think it's lovely, she says. The collection shows a side of you that I don't see a whole lot. Drayckonyan silently laughed to himself. If only she knew how I got those shells. Sunil then walked to the entrance of the cave. I have to go now, she says. But maybe we could talk about it some other time. Drayckonyan, half distracted, said, yeah, maybe. Maybe I can take you to find some more seashells later. Sunil smiled, but then flies off. Drayckonyan almost followed, but then remembered why he had come back so early. There might be nothing that could be done, but he had to try to find something. Walking with Marillion is what gets me up in the morning. I enjoy looking at the singing birds, the flowers in bloom, and a few monkeys fighting over some yellow fruit. All of it is fun, but the most enjoyable activity is just spending time with Marillion. As we enter a clearing, we lie down in the grass, staring at the clouds above. Eventually, Marillion asks, why'd you name our home Drifnin? Doesn't that mean Morning Mountain? I think about my answer for a little while and respond with, before all of what I'm doing and have been doing, I was alone, even when I was with my brother. I was here to build up the land, to nurture it, and to watch over it. But no matter what I did, it never felt like I truly belonged. When you came around, happiness and joy followed. Marillion looked at me, but I was looking to the sky. I smile to show her that my intentions were pure. We continue to lie there for some time when she eventually stands up and says, we should head back. It's getting late. As we return to my canopy, Marillion asks me another question. Nitron, I know I've asked in the past about this, but did you know what I looked like in the egg, or do you leave appearances to chance? I think about it for a moment. And then hesitate, but finally say, honestly, I had no idea what you or your sister looked like before you hatched. To be honest, I had no idea that there was even two of you. Aurelian then put a claw tenderly on her left eye, the eye on the side of her face opposite of me. And how did I get this? She whispers under her breath. I didn't hear her question, but I did see her touching her face. She notices my notice and quickly removes her claw from her face, looking embarrassed. I kind of get the idea and asked, "You're wondering about your scar, aren't you?" She somehow looks a little more embarrassed, but nods her head. "Yeah," she says. "I was. You keep avoiding telling me about it, how I get it." That story's a hard one to tell. I was scared for your safety, as was your sister. Marillion looks at me defiantly. I'm 23 now. I feel like I'm ready to hear it. I hesitate yet again, but I knew there was no getting out of telling the story this time. I sigh. It's my fault you got that scar. I left you and Aropia to play at a lake at the base of a waterfall, but told you not to get close to it. I shouldn't have let you, but you guys didn't like collecting berries for a dessert. I left and eventually started to practice your flying with Aropia. After a little while, you flew too close to the waterfall and clipped your wing against it. The waterfall dragged you under the water and downstream. After a short time later, I return and find Aropia hysterical. Yeah. She told me what happened in between her blubbering and crying, and that she couldn't find you underwater. I told her to stay at that waterfall and went downstream. After a league or so, I found a trail of blood. I followed it, fearing the worst. I don't remember how much longer it was, but a short time later I heard crying. And I went to see who was crying, and I found you in a cave, covering your eye. You were angry at yourself for not paying attention to your surroundings, but I said I wasn't mad at you. Only that was what could calm you down enough for me to heal your eye. But for some reason, that scar, or rather that white scale, was all that remained of the accident. Because you kept up with appearances, you asked me to put another scale under your other eye, just to make it look even. And I agreed, because it was you who was asking. We get back to my canopy in the trees and lay there in silence. I could tell that Marillion was troubled about what I said, so I waited for her to say something before saying anything else. However, before she could, a deafening crash could be heard off in the distance, even though we couldn't see any falling trees. While we were there confused, my brother, Drayckonyan, crashed through the line of trees surrounding the other side of the clearing I call home. Soon after, Gydel and Aropia follow. However, they were a little more dignified about it. Drayckonyan gestures over for us to come down, and I look towards Marillion, who looks as confused as I am. We glide down, still unable to figure out what Drayckonyan has in store. When we get to the group, I ask Drayckonyan, "What is this about?" He mumbles something about the number 15 in response. Drayckonyan, Gydel asks in his deep, wiser than his age voice, "What is the purpose of getting us all together like this?" I'm not really expecting him to say that. I thought he would already know, but I had also asked the same thing. Drayckonyan, however, actually responds to Gydel. Around 15 years ago, Nitron broke our agreement by forming another egg. Without my knowledge or consent. In the agreement, it states that each and every guardian needs to know about and agree with anything planned to be formed before it is done. Since he did not inform me or put it to a vote, I deem that the words of banishment might be said. Banishment? Is what I did really worth this harsh of a punishment? Am I ever gonna see Marillion if this goes through? Drayckonyan gave the time allowed for debate, but I was still too stunned to say anything in defense or hear what was being said. Eventually, he called the vote, and it came to 4-4 and 2 against, after Sunil arrived later. Looking at the votes, I could tell Drayckonyan was pleased. I felt dismay. Without Marillion, I would lose everything I worked for. I would never be able to find love again, since my heart is given to Marillion. I would forever be alone, forever to be left with this burning hatred, never to be able to let it out. Drayckonyan then said the last words I would ever hear from him again, and the words I would never be able to forget. To be honest, good riddance. From today, tomorrow, and forever, we, the Council of Guardians, hereby banish Marillion from this world, never to return. Wait, Marillion! And immediately she was taken by an invisible force up to the sky, growing smaller and smaller until I couldn't see her anymore. I watched her go until the very end, my heart falling apart the whole time. I continue to look, even after she disappeared. And when I begrudgingly look away, I can see that Drayckonyan is standing there alone. I had been staring at the sky for several hours. Night came and went. Neither of us stirred. After an entire day cycle, I could not hold back anything else any longer. I asked him, "Is this what you wanted?" to hurt me, to destroy my life. Was this really about a stupid egg? Or was it something else? Was that how you found to get at me? I say that as I point behind me and in the air. Was there any other way you could have possibly done anything else? Why wasn't it me you banished instead of an innocent dragon? Why her? I was yelling now, furious as I ought to be, barely holding on to any sense of self-control. I must have struck Drayckonyan at his core, for I saw shame in his eyes. I could see him thinking over what he did. He, however, still had the tenacity to say the one word that would anger me further. Oops.